Hi there, I'm E, and this is Not Your Father's 2 Cents. If you're anything like me, you're ready for the 2024 election season to be over. In the last 6 months, we've seen a lot happen. President Biden announced he will not be seeking re-election. 2 assassination attempts have also been made against former President Trump, with the most recent happening this past weekend. Political divisiveness is nothing new, but in recent years, it seems to be getting worse. According to a 2022 survey by the New York Times, 1 in 5 voters said politics hurt their relationships with friends and family. On this special edition of Not Your Father's 2 Cents, join me as I sit down with financial advisor and attorney Pat Simasko of Simasko Law to learn more about how polarization is trickling down into financial planning. Take a listen. We're running into some unique challenges as you're estate planning for clients.
Yeah, we have some real interesting stuff coming in. We've had a lot of interesting things over the years. I'm an estate planning attorney, and I've been doing it for 34 years now, so there's very few things I haven't run across. Lately, they're coming in, I want to cut out my son. Why? Because he's the wrong political party. He's too conservative. He's too liberal.
So is this like a newer thing that you've seen?
It's been crazy within the last year. What's been going on in politics, it has polarized people. There is no more, let's talk politics and then go have a beer afterwards. It's now within 10 seconds, if you talk politics with someone not on your side, you're in a fist fight. Or they're storming out, they're slamming the phone, they're slamming the door. And it doesn't have to be your kid. It's the in-law. It's the son-in-law that doesn't align with you. It's the daughter-in-law that doesn't align with you. And so right now, it's gotten to the point where it's breaking families apart, and it's absolutely horrible for us. And for me as a lawyer, my job is to do what they want. And if they want to come, I can't. When they say, "Well, what do you think, Pat?" It's your plan. You have to decide what's important to you. And I say, "Boy, that's a tough one. Why don't you think about it? Hey, go home and think about it." Great. And they come back and change it. Or they say, "No, I'm ready." Hopefully they mend their ways. Hopefully they find peace. And then they come back in and change it. So best world is they want to do it. And they say, "Well, let me think about it. I'll come back." Or, "No, we want to do it right now." And then they get realigned later. It may be my daughter divorced the guy, or maybe we realize that politics isn't that important. Either one, it is a horrible, horrible thing that's going on. It's breaking families apart. It's breaking friendships apart. A really good friend of mine, we talked for literally within the beginning of the sentence to the end of the sentence, it went from 0 to 100 miles an hour to the point that we said, we just cannot talk anymore. Right.
Yeah.
And that's what we had to do. We had to shut off. I think it's going to get a little bit better with the new appointment with Kamala Harris. That's going to be the presumed thing, I think, and I can explain why I think, but, It's horrible. Hopefully, it's going to get better. But if it keeps down the path, it's divided it's divided our people, and now it's dividing our families so much, and it's really just the most heart-wrenching. The good old days, you go to Thanksgiving dinner, you got that asshole brother-in-law who's drunk. Okay.
Yeah.
He's swearing at the TV. He hates the Lions. Whatever. Who cares? Everybody talks on behind the back. Great. Now it's slam the door, we're leaving.
Right.
And that's what's so sad.
There's no agreeing to disagree now.
No.
Do you think this has been building up like over time? Or do you think it's all the events of like
I think
the 2020, all of that is exacerbated.
It's been building up over time, not because of politics, because of social media, Facebook, Instagram. Everybody has a platform to spout off what they think, and they think what they say is so important that the whole world should know about it, whether it's the restaurant that you go to, the soccer coach, the lady down at the end of the street, the lawyer that you go to. So now when you have a platform and it goes out in the world, now you have the politics that get involved. And there's so much information and misinformation that now their research is what they see on Facebook or that initial level, and now they have a platform. And when now that builds up, oh my God, it's really, it happened yesterday.
Yeah, I was talking with another one of our guests earlier about, and he said the same thing about social media, like really making things seem like it's the end of the world. Like even when you compare like the way Biden debated over the way Trump debated, like both of them they almost fear monger in a way. Like if you elect this guy, the economy's done. Like you're going to lose everything. Oh, well, if you keep this person in office, nothing's going to get better. Right. So I think then people become so passionate about that they're like, well, if my son-in-law is this party and I'm not, he's going to be the reason, he's pushing that agenda.
Right.
So then they want to exclude them from things.
They do, but then it is, I hate that person. I hate conservatives. I hate liberals. So that was that one, when it went from 0 to 100, my friend goes, well, I hate liberals. Really? That's my daughter.
Right.
That's my wife sitting there, and that was tough. So now, when it was Biden Trump, you couldn't have any conversation at all. Now with Biden stepping down, which I thought his speech was fantastic when he stepped down, and now Kamala Harris, it's so interesting. Now it is more issue oriented. She has a platform. He has a platform. Now I'm a primarily conservative Republican, and I say I'm going to vote for Kamala Harris, and I hear, oh my God, why? Mm-hmm. Right? And I have an answer for people now. Before, I wouldn't even say it, because how can you vote for that old fart who is horrible shape? And I go, you know what? I kind of see where you're coming from. Now is, how can you vote for that woman who has this platform? And I'll tell you why. And it's interesting because I really, really thought a lot about this. When you're looking at the people, there's issues. And you're looking at the president. So, you know what? I see that person as a president, whether it's Kennedy or Biden or George Bush or Clinton, whoever it is, it doesn't matter. I look at that person, you look at his characteristics, his morality, his work ethic, his business ethics, how he treats people. And you go, you know what? I see him and I want to emulate him. I think the way he does it is the way I want to do it, or I see myself in him. And great. Or you have to say, I see what he's doing and I don't like what he's doing. I don't emulate that. But as the president, I need those characteristics in that person. Great. But you better own it. Mm-hmm. And if you say, and what people say now when I bring that up to them, they say, well, I see what, first they'll say, I don't know what he did. I don't know what this. I don't know, fake news, whatever. I said, well, that means you're not doing the research. In reality, you say, I don't care. We need that person to be our president.
Yep.
Great. For me, when I was growing up, and I look at President Trump and how he is. Growing up, I was always told by my dad, "You're dumb, you're an idiot." I always felt like I was that kid that was the outsider, the picked on one. And so my whole life, it was protecting that underdog. And now when I see him and how he acts, he's a bully. And I cannot ever vote for a bully. And so that's me. You different, great, but that's for me. It doesn't matter. You can't have him being the bully. But more importantly now, it's not him. He's created a top-down culture of it's okay to bully people. It's okay to say this, and it's okay to say that, and it's okay to say DEI, and it's okay to say this. These people at that level, whether it's government or it's people that we talk to about politics, they think it's okay that they can say that stuff and they can treat people and say that stuff, whether it's on social media or on the news channels. For me, it's not acceptable. But if 51% of the people, if 50% plus one say Trump's the guy, he's got to be the president, we got to rally around it. If 50 plus one say Kamala is the person, great. We got to rally around her as the president. You got to drop it and move forward. But for me personally, that's why I can never, ever, ever vote for a bully, because how I was treated. And I won't let people bully you or my daughters or you or anybody else, because that's what that's my job, is to protect people like that.
Yeah, so that probably makes it really hard then when you have clients coming in that are I don't want to call them bullies, but that are, being so rash.
So for us, elder law, you see the elderly people that are being financially exploited. They're being taken advantage of. For us, you see the people that says, "Oh, I want to cut out my daughter." Why? Because she's a liberal. Because of all these reasons I've heard about on Facebook about this. And you say, well, that's not true, that's not true, that's not true. But you can't get to that because they're the people that there's never any amount of information you can give me to make me vote for President Trump. There's never enough information I can give to someone that's going to vote for Trump that would now vote for Kamala Harris. It's just never going to happen. But when they're making the decisions about how they're going to act with their family based on these core beliefs that now you got from whatever side, it doesn't matter, Democrat or Republican, it doesn't matter where you're getting from, and you're basing on moving forward on that, it's very, very dangerous to our families. Very, very dangerous.
It's almost like the stereotypes that have been associated with each side, like the snowflakes or like you're just a redneck or whatever the stereotypes are for each side. That's really being played up now, more than like their policies.
You're absolutely right. And people say, I can't believe people are voting for Trump. There's half of the our society is voting for Trump. They can't. Their thoughts or their philosophies, their passion, there's something to be there. Just like the other half that's not voting for Trump, it's that. So there's two sides. In both sides, you have to have a yin and a yang, right? And you can't say, I hate you because of your side. It's not fair.
Have you been able to like change people's minds that have come in and said, I want to write out my son-in-law? Have you been able to talk them down?
No, what I try to do is kick the can down the road. Go think about it and then come back. And usually what happens, it happens on it happened over Thanksgiving. All right, it's Monday.
Yeah.
Let's relax. The interesting things that came out is anyone get the, Ancestry.com or 23andMe? Everybody at Christmas time gets the 23andMe, which you do the swab.
Yep.
You send the swab in, you see what
who you're related to.
Yeah.
Basically. Yeah.
6 months later, they're coming in. My daughter's not my daughter. My wife had an affair and didn't find out. And now she's not my daughter. And you say, okay, what do you want to do? Do you cut? They come to me, hey, what needs to be done? I said, well, what do you want to do? Well, that's my daughter, right? So they can overcome. My wife had an affair, and she's not my biological daughter, but they can't overcome the fact that she's voting for this wrong person. Isn't that horrible?
It's crazy.
It's horrible. It's absolutely. Where are we going with society?
I think that's also something you don't think about is how much the political rhetoric seeps into all these other things. I would never, ever think that would become an issue in your field. So you mentioned earlier, you see this maybe getting better.
I think.
What's your hope?
Well, what happened is when I had maybe 3 or 4 conversations when people asked me, well, how can you vote for Kamala Harris? I give them the answer, and that's the answer. It says because of this, and they understand. When I say if the morality of the president, when you look at his morals, you look at his business ethic, and you look at how he treats people, if you like that because you don't believe it or you like the passion, great. But when I say I've been picked on my whole life and I won't pick on a bully, now that's me personally, and they can't attack me for because they say, you know what, he is a bully, but we need him to run because he's going up against China or he's going up against wherever. I don't care about his morality because we need him to do that. That's okay. Own it.
Yeah.
But for me, I can't have that and that. You can, great. I way more benefit. Everybody that's listening, trust me, all the ideology that the Republican conservative have benefit me way more benefit you. Trust me. I can't have that, though. In my world, I just can't have that.
Yeah.
And if you look at that, and if you have daughters, if you have gay people part of your family, when the next level down, the next level of politicians, the next level of news people, the next level of people that feel now that if my president can say it,
I can say it.
I can say it.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? You can think it, but when you start saying it, it's hurtful. It really, really is hurtful. You can't feel justified in saying it as because it's part of your political thing. And for me, I literally was in tears the last couple of days. Tears happy because now we have a politician that can do it, but tears sad when they say, hey, you're DEI. You got in here because of DEI. No, someone worked their asses off to get there, just like my daughters. Right? So if you say that's okay, the next thing is you're going to pick on my daughters that they got there because of that. And then trust me, man, they didn't.
I want to thank Pat for being so authentic with me during this episode. It's not easy talking about politics, and if you're anything like me, you'd rather step on a rusty nail than have a political conversation with someone. But all jokes aside, I do want to reiterate his message. There are real people behind the political labels. Is it really worth cutting off a family member or friend simply because of a difference in political views? Politics are personal, and there are unique lived experiences that impact our vote. That nasty, hateful Facebook comment or that argument over Thanksgiving dinner probably isn't going to convince someone to vote the way that you do. Instead, approach these conversations with an open mind and a willingness to listen. Remember that it's okay to agree to disagree. It might just be the difference between keeping someone in your life and losing them for good. That does it for this special edition of Not Your Father's 2 Cents. Sources used in this episode will be linked in the description along with Pat's website for you to go check him out. Thank you for listening, and I'll meet you back here next week.